Coaches, today on the channel, I'm going to teach you two things that you probably don't think you need to know when you become a high school head football coach, but when you are and you know them, you're going to be happy you do. Stay tuned. Coaches, welcome back to Airraidnation. This is Coach Coltharp coming to you again today. And in the last couple of weeks, man, I've been really thinking about some of the things that I had to know or learn when I became a head football coach. Now, I've done it like 4 times, and every time is a new learning experience and things like that. And I've been putting together this head coaching academy clinic. We're going to have it on May 1st. There'll be a link in the description if you want to get a ticket to that. And so I've just been really thinking about some of the things that I was so glad that I knew when I became a head football coach, because I was really lucky. And if you get your chance, make sure you attach yourself to a great mentor, man. My high school head football coach was my head football coach that I first worked for. And so I played for him and I worked for him. And just he really took me under his wing and showed me everything. And I didn't really appreciate it at the time because, I had all the dirt work and, just all the stuff that was nobody really wanted to do. And I did it. And by the time I was 26, I was one of the youngest head football coaches in North Carolina. So I was really excited about that opportunity. That 3 years really really helped me develop. But even then, when I got my first job, I didn't know 99% of the things that I think I should have known to really feel ready. So, today, that's what we're going to talk about on the channel. I got 2 things that I want to share with you. If you like these kind of videos, you want to see more of this stuff, man, please drop a like on the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, which about 60% of you guys haven't, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe, man. I'm trying to get us up to 10,000 at some point. We're sitting around close to 7 right now. So it'd be cool if you could subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you know when we go live. All that being said, let's jump into the video. All right, guys, so let's jump into the content. Really just wanted to share these couple things with you. I think it was really important. For me, most times when guys get their first job, they tend to focus so much on football that they lose the big picture. Now, I will say this, you can also focus on all this other stuff that I'm going to talk about and lose the football picture too. So, there's a healthy balance that you have to find. But, when I was 26 and I got my first job, I asked my head football coach that I worked for if I was ready. And he said, look, man, all the stuff you need to know, all the stuff you don't know, you can't do it without learning. So don't think that you're ever going to be fully ready for a head football coaching job, because you're not. But when you get in that seat, things change a lot. But if you have a good foundation and you work for the right people, when you get there, you can minimize your mistakes and always be willing to pick up that phone and call somebody and give you some advice. Don't get on the top of the mountain and think, well, I've made it here now and I don't need anybody else, and I'm gonna do this my way, because that's one of the biggest mistakes you can make as a young football coach. So anyway, you jump in there, you focus so much on the big picture on football, like, the offense, what you're going to run, the defense you're going to run, special teams and stuff like that. And then you kind of lose track of the other things that you have to deal with, because, be honest, the head football coach in most places is probably the second highest profile person in the building behind the principal. And a lot of states like Texas and Georgia and Florida, the head football coach might even be more high profile than the principal. So, that's a place where you're going to be pulled thin. They're going to be expected to go to booster club meetings. You're going to be expected to go to, baseball games, basketball games, track meets, the community car wash, show up at Little League games on Saturdays, and all this other kind of stuff that is just going to pull you thin. And you have to do these things, but you have to find a way to do these things and adequately handle all the other stuff that you have to handle. And then that's why if you want to come to the head coaching academy on May 1st, I'm telling you, I'm gonna have 4 or 5 guys in there that have just been really successful, and they're gonna give you some really good advice on different areas of things for you to think about. So like I said, I'll have the link in the description for that. But so here's the first thing that I think that you're going to be happy if you know it, but you don't really think you need to know about it. And that is curriculum. Curriculum is so important. And if you don't understand what I mean by curriculum, but it's basically what the kids need to take to graduate. Okay. And that's so important. The 4 maths, 4 Englishes, the science requirements, what career technical education courses do they have to take? These kind of things. And you're like, well, coach, why is that important? Well, number one, it helps you, stay on their grades and things like that. You understand what they have to take and where they're going. But also, one of the biggest things is when you're trying to get kids in the weight room, and if you got athletic period like the boys in Texas do, then it's no big deal. But most of us, we have to go fight with. The guidance counselor and a data person be like, hey, I need to get these kids put in this period weight training, and then they just look at you and it's like, all right, coach, we'll see what we can do. But then the problem is that they're going to do the easiest thing they can do, especially if you're at a large school. They don't have time to jump in there and move 200 kids or whatever. But if you can go in there and say, hey, look, Johnny doesn't need to take art this semester. He can take it next semester or whatever, or whatever the class is. We can put him in here and do that. And if you go in there and talk like that, they'll be like, oh, okay, so he's really about trying to get these people in the right in the right situations. And so that's really, really important. So really allows you to be strategic about getting kids in the weight room. I can't say that enough, and how important that is. And obviously, weight room is where you win games. It also helps you with NCAA eligibility. I mean, if you understand what honors classes you offer, what AP classes you offer, and things like that, and then which one of those classes are on your your clearinghouse list. You can help a kid with his core GPA if you can go in there and say, hey, look, can we put him in honors world history instead of regular world history, because he needs to get another point. And I'll be honest with you, man, most kids can handle that because athletes are inherently competitive. And if you put them in a competitive environment, they're going to compete. So, you can put a kid in a tougher class, and if he's really wanting to get it done, he's going to get it done. And so, knowing curriculum is one of those things that you really don't think you need to know about it, but when you become a head football coach, you're going to be glad you do. So let's talk about the second one. So the second one is equipment, and it's so important. Number one, do you understand what reconditioning requirements are? Most helmets have to be reconditioned once every 2 years. If they're over 10 years old, you can't use them anymore. Some districts make you recondition every year. Just all those kind of things, are things that if you haven't really dealt with equipment, you're going to wish you had when you get in there, because this is one of the biggest places you can get in trouble, not only from safety issues, but it'll destroy your budget. Okay, so you got to understand what reconditioning requirements are. What's the cost of equipment too? And that's really, really important. I can remember when I first started, a helmet was like $199 for a good one. Now they're upwards of $400 and $500 and $600 depending on what you put your kids in. But being able to give your kid the best of what you can afford is really, really important. And if you have an idea of your equipment, it's going to limit waste. And here's the biggest thing, man. When you get your first job, go count everything. Don't take the inventory that the AD gives you, anything like that. Go in there on a Saturday and count everything. I mean, you need to know how many girdles you have, how many thigh sets you have, or whatever, if you're still using inserts, belts, things like that. All those little things, man. Take an inventory, even up and down to your numbers and things like that, because it'll help you in the long run when you're planning your budgets, and it's something that you really need to do. And once you get it done and organized the very first time, then it's easy peasy lemon squeezy, because now you know where everything is, you have it put where you want to put, you know exactly what you got. And so then when you go to the AD, you can say, hey, this is what I need. And then he can't look at you and say, well, we just bought 300 of those yesterday, or last year. And you're like, well, where are they at? This is the current inventory, match it up to the one he gave you. And so, but it also gives you an idea as you plan ahead, whether you're doing uniforms or purchases or anything like that. And here's a really good uniform hack. I always buy stock pants. I don't buy custom pants. We might do a custom uniform top or something like that, but I always buy stock pants, because then at the end of the season, you can order 10. If you're royal blue or black or whatever, just order 10 sets of pants and start replacing pants over and over and over and over and over. And if you're at a limited budget program, man, that's a great life hack. That way, every year you're just buying, like you buy 12 helmets, you buy 12 pairs of pants. And that way, when your pants start getting tore up, you just move them down to JV or move them out, but you're not having to buy an entire set of uniforms off jump, and it'll save you a ton of money. So understanding that part about equipment is so important. And then the last thing about equipment is this: a good sporting good guy is worth their weight in gold. Okay, get a good relationship with whoever's dealing, whoever deals with you in your area, whether it's BSN, Johnson and Lamb, whatever local company you have. But get in a good relationship with that guy, because you never know when you need a shoulder pad and you need it yesterday. You can pick up that phone and make that phone call and say, hey, listen, I need this, blah, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. And once they start building that relationship with you, they start taking care of you and doing things for you. And my thing with my guys, I always said is, listen, man, my loyalty is to my budget. I'm going to go who's going to give me the best product for the cheapest amount, but I'm not going to nickel and dime you. If you're good to me, I'm not going to go with another vendor because they're 20 cents cheaper. Okay, unless it ends up being, $200, $300, $400. Okay, but making that relationship with that good sport and good guy is so important. And like I said, if you know these things about equipment, that stuff about curriculum, you're going to be ahead of the ball game. All right, guys, thanks for tuning into today's video. I hope those little nuggets of information will be beneficial for you in your journey to becoming a head football coach, or if you've already got your first job, like a couple of guys have been texting and tweeting me about over the last few weeks, saying they've been watching some of the content and how much they appreciated it. I hope these little things help you. And if you really want to learn more about being a head football coach, man, I would suggest that you really think about signing up for the Head Football Coaching Academy. You'll get lifetime access to that over on Coach 2, but it's going to be a pretty good night with 4 or 5 really good coaches. And, get in there and listen to what they have to say about different things. And then you can have Q&A and ask all the questions you want to ask, man. So the Eventbrite link will be down in the description. And as always, spin it to win.